I'm Lee.
And I'm Z.
And you are listening to episode 10 of the Lee and Z Show for this first half of October 2009. Show notes and links about subjects discussed on the show will be up at leeandz.com. This show is available on our website, as well as our very, very forgiving, loving sponsors at thatguywiththeglasses.com. We made fun of their dog, sorry. But you can also subscribe to us on iTunes so that you'll never miss an episode. And since people love the twittering nowadays, people are all about the tweets, we are now on Twitter at twitter.com/LeeandZ, so you can get the updates on when we have new episodes or cool video game deals or whenever Lee stubs his toe.
Man, I didn't even know we were on Twitter. That's news to me right now. So, what kinds of things are we going to tweet about, Lee?
Well, since people are too lazy to go to leeandz.com sometimes, it's just going to be quick updates about when we have new episodes, when there's going to be actual appearances, like, say, Z is going to be at some New York convention, or she's going to be in a play called, Edward Lear's Absurd Ditties.
It's a puppet show. I mean, you could call it a play, but that makes it sound like so adult, and it's really just like a beautiful, silly little puppet show. But yeah, okay, I guess we could tweet about these things.
Actually, I've already tweeted about that, so fans might show up.
You did? Oh my god.
Hey, you tweeted about it on Little Miss Gamer's Twitter, so that means it's fair game. So you might have fans there tonight or next weekend.
We shall see. We shall see. You can see me doing toy theater and marionettes in Dumbo, which people don't know. That's a part of Brooklyn that's directly under the Manhattan Bridge overpass. I might have gotten that wrong, but it's Dumbo. That's what people call it.
You'll see the address on twitter.com/LeeandZ, where we have a whopping 20 followers. Woo!
Oh my god. All right. Well, awesome. And wait, you just said something before that about how you made fun of somebody's dog?
I just made that crap up. They don't have an official mascot yet. Though I would like to see an official mascot for that guy with the glasses, like a McGruff the crime dog, except it has like the Nostalgia Critic's hat and glasses on. All right, but we're getting way off track. This episode is special because it is number 10. We made it to the 10th episode. How about that? We're alive.
It's true. We made it through. It's okay. We might be able to do 10 more.
Might be able to. No, I think it's a guarantee because we are on a roll now. We've passed the trials and tribulations. I've done all of my training. I think I'm ready to finally stop being nervous about this whole podcasting thing.
That's good, Lee. Welcome to the other side. Of just like talking a lot and to a microphone with nobody else around and then having people listen to it a week later.
Yeah, I know. I'm bad about editing these podcasts. They take a long time. I got to put a lot of tender love and care into them, just put out a product that people will like. And to say thank you to the fans, this episode is going to be a very special 1-hour spectacular.
It's true. So there are a group of people who always say it's not long enough. So I guess this is for those people. And for the people who are saying this is too long, well, it only happens once in a while. So
yeah. We only want to bring you the best content that we have, which is why, as we were learning by recording these podcasts one by one, we've actually had to get rid of some segments in the past. People have actually never heard our very first attempt at a podcast. I'm going to call it episode 0. So maybe we'll be airing a little bit of segment about that so you can hear like the large difference between then and now.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Hey. We have a lot of fans, and I think people should know what was going on. I think it's good to reflect and see just how much we've changed since then.
I don't know. Sometimes reflecting's good, and sometimes it's not. Lee, what are you doing? You're letting out all our secrets. We need to keep that in the bag.
That's because we love our fans. I think that they need to see our filthy side. They need to see us, well, they're not going to see all of it, but our podcast 0 pretty much degraded into a wrestling podcast. We talked about...
True.
Yeah. We talked about wrestling for like 80% of the time because we just talked about the movie The Wrestler and then like a wrestling Nintendo game, and then it just went bananas after that. It's just such a different format from what it is now. But we have to let them know it was a fun time. And we also actually had to, embarrassing enough, we had to get rid of an episode last month because of a lot of technical problems and because it wasn't topical anymore because I got sick and I wasn't able to edit the podcast together in time. But thankfully, we were able to salvage some happy segments from that, and we'll be seeing them later on in the show.
Woohoo! Well, we're just telling everybody everything. Let's see, what else is happening in our life? I woke up this morning. I had tea.
I had cough medicine for a little bit of a coffee problem. Yeah.
Ew.
But what's happening today on ThatGuyWithTheGlasses.com is that we have our spotlight once again. Last time we showed the spotlight on Shameful Sequels, and thankfully he is now a mainstay part of the site. He has his own section and everything, and people are so happy, like, yay, we finally have him, woohoo! And now we're going to prop up another guy. He's also just now been confirmed. He is that Jewish guy. I'm not sure if it's that Jewish guy with the glasses. No, he doesn't wear glasses, but he does videos about Jewish things and stuff.
He does wear a yarmulke.
Very true, very true. And the first video he put on the site was really cool. I didn't know about this. It's a review of a show called Shalom Sesame, which was like a Jewish Hebrew type version of Sesame Street, and it was actually on the up and up. Sesame Street actually sponsored this show, and it aired in several cities in the United States. It was just such an interesting video. It only had 13 episodes, and it aired in like the late 80s. And I want to know, Z, did you ever watch this as a kid?
I didn't. No, if they had shown it, it might have been shown like on a local station in Rochester, but I don't think it ever got shown where I was from. The closest thing to that was they did a week where they showed episodes from the actual Sesame Street that was broadcast in Israel, which I believe is different from the Shalom Sesame. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm not totally sure. But I recognize the porcupine, which is the lead character, kind of takes the place of Big Bird in some ways. But no, it was nice to see all that footage and to see all those old characters and some new characters I'd never seen before.
Just a bananas show. It was just a shock to me. I had no idea. At first, I thought it was just some knockoff show, unofficially, that they just decided to just outright steal scenes from Sesame Street and dub over one of the characters. But
that would be illegal. They wouldn't let that happen. But no, it says that it's sponsored by Children's Television Workshop. So, I mean, it was totally legit.
Moving on from that, that Jewish guy also has a top 13 Jewish comedians video, which I thought was very interesting. Such a funny video with some of the top talents of all time.
You know, the only thing I'm going to say, though, is that there were no female comedians on his list at all. And I was just like, well, that's really the top 13 Jewish male comedians. I mean, he couldn't have even put in just like one. Sarah Silverman, she could have been maybe like 14 at least. Just one. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Girls are funny, too. Girls are funny, too.
Sarah Silverman has a very unique style of humor.
Yeah, but she's really popular and funny, and people know her. And there are more Jewish female comedians besides her, but off the top of my head, she's the first one that comes to mind because she's the most recent. That was the one thing I was like waiting to see, like if there was, you know, by the time he got down to like number three, I was like, wait a second, there's no females in this list at all. Plus, Mel Blanc, I love Mel Blanc, but he wasn't necessarily a comedian, he was a voice actor. So I don't necessarily agree with that choice either. I don't know, I'm a big naysayer today. I've been really busy all week, and I watched the episodes and I was like, oh, those are good, but wait a second. Yeah, I started to nitpick on things. I think he's doing a good job, but I think his energy could be a little higher as far as like the odd camera stuff.
Today on the Lee and Negative Nancy show.
Hey, I'm not being that negative. Well, maybe I am. I don't know.
He also has another series called Guy Linor, where he acts like a cool 90s emo hardcore kid and does hardcore things like reading out of the dictionary. He has lots of different characters, lots of different shows that he's starting, and I wish him all the best. As Z says, there's probably some things that he could improve upon, but we still love him anyway because he helps bring us informative things that I never even heard of, like the Shalom Sesame. That was just mind-blowing.
Well, I mean, being a Jewish person myself, it's really nice to see somebody talking about the Jewish culture in a positive way and talking about Jewish influences and entertainment and media and all of that, and I really appreciate it. So don't get me wrong, I think that what he's doing is really great and really awesome, and I think that his show is really informative. I was just saying that, I don't know, my opinion after seeing 3 of his episodes, the 2 that we just mentioned and then his most recent kosher episode, was that his on-screen persona could just be a little bit more, I don't know, revved up. That's all.
All right. We'll get one of those little wind-ups, and we'll just stick it in his back, and we'll see what happens. We'll also slip some pixie sticks into whatever he drinks. We'll see what happens.
I'm not saying hyper. I don't know. It's more an acting thing than anything else, which is like, who am I to talk? I'm a puppeteer. I'm not an actress necessarily in some respects, but blah, blah, blah. I think he's doing great, and I look forward to seeing what he does in the future.
And now for something completely different.
Up next, we have a salvage segment from a canceled episode in August.
I have a little something I wanted to share with you for a little while, and I've been waiting for the right time, because I have like a backlog of things I could pull out at any time. This week I decided to share with you a little piece of 1980s cartoon cable history.
Oh my.
Because, well, you see, I mean, Saturday morning cartoons, that's like one of the best things when you're a kid, Saturday morning cartoons. Well, this thing made Saturday morning happen every day of the week. What could I possibly be talking about?
Belle and Sebastian?
No. That was on Nickelodeon. That was only one cartoon. This was USA Cartoon Network Express, or USA Cartoon Express, as it was called. And the USA Cartoon Express happened every single day. They had a different lineup all the time, and it was integrated with the USA Network Kids Club. It was great. I mean, all right, some of the cartoons weren't amazing, but some of them were. I mean, they had a bunch of Hanna-Barbera stuff, but this was the place that I got to see Dragon's Lair by Don Bluth for the first time. You know, some of the more memorable things for me were Voltron, which is one of my all-time favorite cartoons ever. And then you had some really fun ones, like I think the Snorks were on there, and Shirt Tales was definitely on there. That's where I saw that one. Hong Kong Phooey, the Flintstones, and all different incarnations of the Flintstones. You had like the Flintstones regular, and then you had Flintstones the teenage years, where like Pebbles and Bam Bam were like teenagers. Just a ton of different fun cartoons, and I used to watch it like pretty much every single day. And it was usually on from See, now I'm having to remember, but I think it was on from like 4 until 7, maybe. So you had like a 3-hour block of cartoon awesomeness.
Wow, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
That's pretty early.
No. After school.
Ah, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this was after school. So you'd be like watching during dinner and stuff. And stopped, I think, in 1996. USA finally pulled the plug on it, which was such a sad day, because it was kind of like an institution in my mind, you know. But I think it was really great, and I hope that some of you out there remember it. There was Inch High Private Eye, all these like really weird, lovely cartoons. So,
do you remember that they had a live-action Power Rangers ripoff? It was like in the mid-90s. I forgot what it was called. It's like their Zordon was like a giant purple blob, and they transformed themselves into giants, and they pretty much did kung fu fighting.
Is that Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad?
No, this was another show.
No.
It was on USA. It started around 1993 or something like that.
See, I'll tell you, I wasn't a huge Power Rangers fan, and the reason, now I think it's cool, but the reason at the time was I was protesting because I thought that they had ripped off of Voltron, which is my all-time favorite cartoon. So I was feeling like my cartoon was getting shafted for this like live-action, hokey, cheesy, weird Japanese thing, which, when really there are two different things, and now I see that it was actually really hokey and yet awesome. But at the time I was like, no one understands. I was boycotting the whole franchise.
They've been doing like I think it's called like Super Sentai or whatever in Japan. They've been actually doing that since the 70s, I think. So the whole superhero team forming into giant robots, that's been going on since before Voltron. And Voltron was, I think, also came from other shows that were more popular from the 70s, and I think maybe from the 60s.
So really, I was an uninformed teenager with angst, is really what happened. But because of that, I didn't really watch Power Rangers. I would always defend the honor of Voltron and whenever I could. Now I look back at that and I think, well, I didn't know any better. We didn't have the internet back then. All I knew was my roots. My roots were Voltron.
Yep, I liked Power Rangers as a kid. I gave it about 2 or 3 seasons before it started to get really stupid. I will admit that Dina and I do like one of the newer Power Rangers series, but only one. It was called like Power Rangers SPD.
God, has Power Rangers become like Law and Order? Do they have all these spin-offs with 3-letter anagrams, you know? Like SVU and CSI and...
I think they're probably still doing this today, but every single year, they just reboot the entire show and have a different cast and a different plot and everything, just to try and keep it fresh and sell different toys and things like that. So it's like Wild Force, Rescue Team, SPD, Super Ninja Action Pandas.
Well, actually, a friend of mine used to work art department on the Power Rangers stuff out in California. Back in the heyday when I was boycotting, he used to do art department on that. So it's always fun. We get to hear some stories from him. Maybe I'll have him on sometime and he can tell us some stories from the old Power Rangers days of yore.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I know that most of the actual Power Ranger fighting was actually filmed in Japan, and they pretty much just used the stock footage from that and tried to build a story around it. But there was still plenty of action that happened on United States soil.
Right, totally. Well, so that's my old school segment, little Cartoon Network. We'll have a couple clips up on the website, on the blog for reference. I'm
definitely going to search YouTube for all those shows you mentioned, especially Hong Kong Phooey.
Oh, I know, Hong Kong Phooey. Some of those Hanna-Barbera shows were like really cheesy and really bad, but some of them were actually cheesy and great. So you just have to pick your poison.
Yep, $2 budget, all awesome. Okay.
Wait, this just in. Chad just gave me a piece of paper that says that there's going to be a Zuma sequel on September 15th. With boss battles, more power, and the same classic amazing gameplay.
Oh, God.
Zuma Revenge.
Oh, God.
What? Oh, my God.
No.
This just in. Amazing.
Just when we got you out of your addiction, now they pretty much make them twice as strong. It's like video game heroin.
I'm so excited. Oh, my God.
We've lost her, folks. She's gone. It's over.
And now for something completely different.
Now we have for you a chunk of the infamous Episode 0 from March 2009. Let her rip. I'm Lee from Still Gaming.
And I'm Z, also known as Little Miss Gamer.
And you are listening to the very first inaugural
There has never been one before this one.
episode of the Lee and Z Show on this Wednesday, March 4th, 2009. Yeah!
Woo!
Now, this bi-weekly half-hour podcast is about a whole bucket full of hodgepodge. We have a heavy dosage of retro gaming, mixed in with a few parts of the modern stuff, also with a dash of movies, television, gadgets, and other geeky stuff. Show notes and links about some of the subjects we're going to talk about will be up at leeandz.com. First up on the show, we'll be letting you know a little bit about ourselves.
And then we'll be talking a little bit about a few more recent things in the news, and then a juicy one where we tell you about our guiltiest pleasure that our fans might not actually believe. Definitely stick around for that.
Yeah. See, now you were trying to get out of it now. What is your guilty pleasure that most of the listeners aren't going to know about?
Well, I have a lot of guilty pleasures, but I think the most recent guilty pleasure is that I've been reading the Twilight book series by Stephanie Meyer. I know. I haven't seen the movie. In fact, I don't know that I have any desire to see the movie. But the books are, they're just really fun. They're really fun to read. They remind me a lot of like Christopher Pike or Lois Duncan or Carolyn B. Cooney. All of these authors I used to read when I was a teenager who would write these young adult thriller novels. I'm not including R.L. Stine in that. He was one of them too, but he was not one of my favorites. My favorite was definitely Christopher Pike, and Lois Duncan was a close second. They wrote books that were very similar to what the Twilight series is kind of going towards. It's definitely like fluff, there's hardly any substance. The writing is good. It's not amazing. I mean, how many times can you use the word smoldering, in one book? But
oh my. I mean, this is all new to me because I really don't read that much. The one thing you mentioned that you don't like, R.L. Stine, that's the one I tried to read, but even then I didn't like his writing style because it was just so formulaic, and I just don't read all that much, though I'm really kind of in the same boat as you. I can't really laugh at you for reading Twilight, because I read a manga based on a rip-off book of Twilight. It's called Vampire Kisses. Now, not in a million years would I see myself reading this as a book, but the artist did a great job making this fun to read. Did some really nice things with the characters. It really felt like a more real story to read than the terrible book, because they had like an excerpt at the end, like, oh god, I'm gonna vomit. But I mean, I only bought this book because 2 years ago I commissioned the artist of the Vampire Kisses manga to make a doll for Dina of this character Azel from Panzer Dragoon Saga. She's appeared in a few videos. She's always in the background, and I think the only appearance she officially made was in a video called We Love PVC, and she was officially billed as my puppet master. I haven't wrote her into the show yet, but I think she's staring at me right now. Oh, man. Yes,
Awesome.
master. Yeah.
Take over. But I would say that's the whole thing, though, is that this book is... I'm on book 3 right now, and nobody tell me what happens. I'm going to find out for myself. I hate spoilers. It's the worst. So I'm on book 3, and they're just really fun to read. You know, there's not much substance to them, but I've been having a really great time reading them on the subway to and from the city every day. And I don't know. I never would have thought I would be reading those books, but they're totally great.
And maybe I'll dabble in them someday, but I severely doubt it.
You know, I would start with Christopher Pike, maybe, and work your way up to to Twilight.
All right.
But for young adult thriller fiction, it's pretty good.
That's definitely something people aren't going to expect, and I'm sure maybe some people were starting to realize that I liked wrestling because I had a teaser up that had Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage talking about the mega powers. Like, I was trying to have this teaser that 2 devastating forces were going to join together, and then I build ourselves as the mega bit powers, and that's probably a nickname we're not going to use again after this podcast.
I think we should call this podcast the Megabit Power Podcast.
No.
I mean, like, we should name the episode the Megabit Power.
Done.
From the top of the ropes.
Well, you could actually turn the show notes entry on leandz.com into a whole story based off of Twilight or something.
Twilight and wrestling with a little bit of video games thrown in.
And now for something completely different.
Okay, time to blindside you. Turbo Top 3s!
Turbo Top 3!
Uh-huh.
I guess it's been 10 episodes, so the big booming voice doesn't scare you anymore.
No, I'm over it. You gotta do something new.
Sexy Slick Sixes!
No, not 6. And ew, sexy slick. That just sounds gross. That sounds like a totally different show.
Slip and slide 6s. Yeah, this time you have to name your top 6 of something in 66 seconds. See, yeah, you thought you could get away with it this time. No. This time it's for reals. It's for reals. 66 seconds on the clock right now.
Are you ready?
I hope so. Yes, I'm ready.
Top 6 worst films of all time. Go.
Oh, that's hard because I usually actually kind of really like bad movies. I guess the worst movies. It's just really hard because like movies that are that bad, I really, really kind of love. They hold a special place in my heart because it takes a lot of work to make something that bad. I'm totally using up all my time. Let
me rephrase. Your top 6 really bad movies that you love.
The People Under the Stairs. I love that movie. It's really bad, but it's great. 6. This is so hard. This is one of those things that you kind of have to sit and think about for a while. I don't know, Lee. This is really hard. I can't just like pick out 6.
Even if this was a 3, you would have already lost. Oh my God, this.
It's true. It's true because, well, you know what? I'm sitting here and I'm looking at our DVD collection, and they're all movies that I love. So then I have to think about movies that I try not to think about because I didn't like them, and that's really hard. It's hard to go back into the recesses of your brain that quickly. So I just failed. That's the big news on our big episode 10. I just failed the Turbo Top 3.
Alex Trebek's not pissed anymore. He is just disappointed and depressed.
Sad. It's a sad thing. But you know what? It happens sometimes. Sometimes you just can't pull it out. You think you can. You think you have it in you. But then, you get beaten. It's okay. I'll hang my head in shame over here in the corner for a little while. You
better think about what you've done.
I'm thinking about it, and I think that it's not so bad. I think that was a hard question for me.
If you say so. Okay, since this sexy slick sixes or slip and slide slick sixes is so hard, ask me a top 6, and let's see how bad I fail.
See, I was totally unprepared. I didn't realize we were doing 6s, so now I have to rethink a little bit.
Well, that's how it happens when you act all smug about being ready for the Turbo Top 3s.
Well, I thought I was ready, but now I guess I was lying.
When they expect the fastball, I throw the curve.
Yeah, this is totally not fun for people to be listening to right now as I ponder what exactly I'm going to be asking you.
Boom, boom.
All right, top 6 best Halloween costumes you've ever had, because that was going to be my original. So if you can come up with 6, I dare you. Go.
I think I've probably only had about 3, but I can think of outfits let's see. I have been, number 1, I've been a hobo. I've been a hobo for 6 years. 2, I was a Ninja Turtle Michelangelo. 3, myself. I have totally said that. I was I'm the scariest thing in the world. I'm myself. Number 4, now we're going into the theoreticals. I wanted to dress up as Frankenstein and probably Dracula. Yeah, I wanted to dress up as Dracula. And let's think about what the last one would be. Yeah, I probably wanted to be... No. I didn't want to be that at all. No.
See, it's hard, right?
Yeah, I've got 5 so far. What makes it hard is that I've only dressed up as 3 of these because I was kind of poor growing up, so we couldn't really afford to dress up as anything other than a hobo.
Well, what did you dress up for Halloween last year?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Why not?
Because I am a man! I'm like...
Aw, that's lame. No way.
What? Okay, my 6th thing, I would like to dress up as Linkara.
Okay. All right.
But, yeah, I just don't dress up anymore because, I don't know, I just feel too old for it, I guess. But
what?
I'm not a puppet.
That is the lamest of the lame.
I'm not a puppeteer. I don't get to enjoy Halloween as much as you do.
Really? You don't like dressing up? But isn't that what part of all these cons and everything is all about? Is cosplay and dressing up and pretending to be other people and stuff?
You know what?
That's Halloween. There's a whole holiday devoted to it.
I don't know if you ever saw me, but I did cosplay once. I was Reno from Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm. So are you not going to dress up for Halloween this year?
I don't know. I'm going to say no.
Aww.
I'm just going to sit at home and give out candies. Though people really don't come around this area. We probably get about 5 trick-or-treaters each year because it's just that it's like a no Halloween fun zone out here.
Yeah. Well, the city, too, kids don't really trick-or-treat so much out where I am. They go to, events that are kind of sanctioned by corporate America a little bit more so than walking around to people's houses. Or they go to parties. And then, us older kids, we go to parties. But I'll be in Disney World for the week before Halloween. So I'm going to be dressing up for a Halloween party in Disney World. Yay!
I'm going to Disney World!
Oh my god, I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. Me and my mom are going to rock out in Disney World. It's going to be awesome.
You've been telling me about that ever since, I say, when we recorded episode 2.
Maybe. It's been long in the works. So
it is a vacation that is long overdue.
My mom and I are both celebrating our birthdays, so we're going to be in Disney World. It's going to be awesome.
Birthday is about 2 months late, but better late than never.
It doesn't have to be on the day. It's just that she turned a significant age, I turned a significant age, and now we're going to celebrate our birthdays together.
That means that Z turned 18.
No. But I turned him a significant age, a milestone, if you will. And so did my mom, so we're going to celebrate together.
Well, that is just sweet, and hopefully someday I'll go to Disney World. I'm probably the only person that lived in Florida and never went.
Oh, no, I'm sure there's a whole ton. I mean, especially if you live in Florida, like, I wonder if it seems as significant. I lived, a little over an hour away from Niagara Falls, and I think I've been there maybe 5 or 6 times, but it was never, like, a huge deal. But, people come from all over the world to go to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, well, kind of like how I live in Tennessee, and people just come over here all the time to maybe see, like, Elvis's Graceland.
Yeah. Well, dude, if I'm ever going to visit you in Tennessee, we are totally going to Graceland. Sorry.
Oh, I'll show you the tour. I've been there myself about 5 times, and you'll get to see all the magnificent gift shops they have. It's like there's a segment of the house, and then a gift shop, and then you go on the plane, and then when you get off, there's a gift shop. God, there's just gift shops everywhere. I'm used to like 1 or 2 gift shops, not 1,000 gift shops, all with the same old stuff.
Well, that's kind of like Disney World. Every ride that you get off of, there's a gift shop, so...
Well, you're also going to go to the zoo because you get to see the pandas.
Oh, you have pandas?
Oh, yeah.
That's
We've
nice.
got 2 pandas, and they are lazy. I just love it. We got a good picture, good video of one of them just sitting in like a huge pile of bamboo, just eating like crazy. It was the good life. Yep. Happy pandas. They just love it.
That's good. Cool. Well, you live outside of Memphis, right? Is that right? Or is it Nashville?
Just outside of Memphis. I live just outside of Memphis, so it's within driving distance. We have no subway system here except for like one little trolley that goes downtown through one road, and that's about it. So our transportation system is pretty bleh.
Yeah, but you have a great music scene, right, in Memphis? I mean, you always hear about how Memphis has such a great music scene.
Well, yeah, we still do kind of a good music scene. It's kind of shifted though from rock to hip hop, though.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
I know.
I like hip hop.
I'm just saying that it's just that it shifted from what it used to be in like the 50s and 60s and 70s. So now I think the Black Eyed Peas might be from Memphis. If they're not, then we'll cut this out.
Or we'll just say we were wrong.
No, we were right. I am always right here on the Lee and Z Show. You know that, right? I'm going to drink a swig of my Chardonnay now.
Ew.
Actually, that's water, but people don't know
he's
that.
gulping on air. It's gross.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a horrible thing. It's like a gulp sound that I make whenever I drink anything. It's because I changed the way that I taste drinks like 15 years ago, and I can't change it back.
You changed the way that you taste drinks? What does that even mean?
It's tough to describe. It's like one day it's like, you know what? This is not hitting my tongue the right way, so I'm gonna change the way I drink stuff. And it just, for some reason, the gulp started and things tasted better, so I just stuck with that. That doesn't make any sense, I know, but I don't know how to change it back, and I feel like I've probably made a mistake. I might be making myself sick by doing it that way, but here's some gulping for you.
Weird.
See, that's not normal. That's like cartoony.
Weird.
But before I embarrass myself further, let's move on to a new segment on the Lee and Z Show that's been in the wings for about 8 episodes now. It is Mangapiece Theater, where Lee reviews the finest manga, which is Japanese comic book in black and white format that people should read. And today's entry is Rosario plus Vampire? Rosario and Vampire? I just call it Rosario Vampire. It's about a regular guy, just so average. He's average at everything he does. And he, by mistake, goes to a school of nothing but monsters. And he gets into a relationship with this girl named Mocha, And she is not the stereotypical girl, I guess, in Japanese manga. She's not weak. One thing I really hate about anime and manga is that they always have like this weak female lead that always needs rescuing, that can't stick up for herself, that just can't do anything right. But she's got a very strong heart, very strong will, and they work together so well as kind of a couple. You kind of actually believe them to be good together. But the thing about Mocha is, even though she's strong on her own, she's able to actually transform into a full-blooded vampire form.
Of course she is.
Whenever her like necklace or Rosario is taken off by Tsukune, and she just becomes the ultimate badass. Where other manga would have messed up, they would have made like the evil vampire Mocha like totally angry and like a bitch or something like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to say bitch, but bitch, and like abuse Tsukune, but she actually cares about him too. So both of them, even though they have different personalities, one's more aggressive than the other, both of them actually have respect for the guy. And the manga kind of degrades a little bit when more women enter in the foray, even though they're not really in any competition. I wish it wouldn't have been like that, where other women try to come in. It's not really overly sexualized, unlike that other thing. If people have seen Rosario Vampire in 5 seconds, it was my 5-second movies entry on That Guy with the Glasses. That is the anime, and it is the worst abomination I've ever seen in my life, because they have a panty shot every minute or so, which was not in the manga. It's ridiculous. They just sexualize the hell out of it for cheap. It's not even sexual. It's just stupid little crappy upskirt shots when they aren't even necessary. It's like they pan the camera way too low when somebody just opens a door or rides a bike. And to think that it came from my favorite manga, it just makes me pretty damn mad. It's just the worst anime I've ever seen in my life. Whereas the manga, it's a really good read, and I'm happy to know that it's actually one of the top sellers in the United States right now. I thought that only a few people would buy it, but sometimes you see it right at the top of the charts on, like, the New York Times has a bestsellers list for manga, and it's hit #1 several times above the likes of Naruto and Bleach. So at least there are people out there that think the same way I do, that they think this is very entertaining stuff. Now, it might not be up Z's alley. Would that be something you might be interested in, Z?
Well, I mean, I'll read it, sure. I don't really read manga. I don't have a ton of time, so I have to kind of pick what I'm into, and we just don't really have any in the house. But I'm sure that, if somebody gave it to me and told me to read it on the subway, I'd be like, okay, sure, I'll take a look at it. Generally speaking, I like a lot of the same things that you like, not all the time. So I probably would like it, and based on your description, it sounds like something I'd be interested in taking a look at. So yeah, maybe one of these days, next time I'm in a comic book store, I might check it out and see if they have an episode there.
Not only do I have a book to recommend for you, I also have a video game, and it costs $1.
That's pretty cheap, Lee.
It's for the Xbox 360 community games. I think that's right. I wouldn't know. My Xbox 360 is still broken.
Aw, so sad.
The game is called I Made a Game with Zombies in It. Can it be any more straightforward than that? It's basically like Robotron 2084, if anybody's ever played that. You use your left thumbstick to move, use your right thumbstick to shoot in all directions. It's a 2D over-the-top game. You just run around shooting a whole lot of stuff, and the game is like completely set to the music. It's like some guy randomly singing like, I made a game with zombies in it. Thank you for buying my game. And the song goes for like 10 or 15 minutes. And whenever he says like certain lyrics, like the words will pop up like on the ground, like a disco effect is going to happen. So the game is very stylized and very fun. My buddy Mark at Classic Game Room, he reviewed it recently. I'm just going to say it's kind of tough to search for this game because it has a bunch of crappy leet speak and misspellings all in it. But if you go to your Xbox 360 and you just look under the letter I, you'll eventually see it. And for $1, you really can't go wrong with this game. I just love that game. Just wish my 360 wasn't busted so I could just get it out. But until then, I just got to play like Robotron 2084 on my Atari 7800, which has a really crappy video connection right now. But oh well.
Any idea of when you're going to be getting your Xbox back?
My guess is 4 to 6 weeks.
And when did you send it out?
It's going to be on Monday.
Oh, you haven't sent it out yet. Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I kind of got sidetracked.
Bummer.
And you know what that means is that I might miss the launch of Brutal Legend.
Lee! God,
I'm sorry.
That is,
I'm so sorry.
That is such a sad thing. Well, I guess you're going to have to go over to a friend's house.
Yeah, I will. My parents have it, so I'll probably go over there and play the hell out of it. But if somebody wants to play Brutal Legend now, the demo is out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, so you can download that for free and already get a taste of the game.
I know. I'm so excited. I can't wait. October 13th.
ROCKTOBER 13th.
I know. And actually, I think that Tim Schafer was just on Jimmy Fallon last night, which I know to our listeners is going to be like a little while from now, but I have to scan the internets after we're done with this and see if I can find a video clip of that and put it on my blog, because I'm so excited about the game. I'm so excited. I haven't been this excited about a game in a long time.
Hey, me too. I'm excited. Even though I'm not showing it right now, I do think it's going to be one of the best games of the year. I've seen a playthrough of it with commentary by Tim Schafer to play through the first 20 minutes, and I didn't want to get spoiled, so I stopped most of the way through. But the game looks absolutely amazing. It has that typical awesome Tim Schafer writing, and you couldn't have found a better voice actor for the lead role than Jack Black. This is one of the examples where I approve of getting a star, a celebrity, to voice somebody, because that is what Jack Black's all about. Because he's a musician, he's a comedian, and he just brings that character to life.
Totally. Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Just wait. Now Z's going to go to doublefine.com and buy all the Brutal Legend merchandise. They've got like shirts and posters and all sorts of crazy stuff. If people have seen my wall, I've just got Psychonauts stuff everywhere. A lot of it that I bought from doublefine.com because they have some great stuff. And I'm sure it might all shift to Brutal Legend. I may have to replace my giant Disgaea poster with a giant Brutal Legend poster. Who knows? But again, I mean, Brutal Legend might be a bad game. It's possible.
Wait.
It could be over,
No.
right?
No. It's not possible. It's just going to be amazing. I just know it. And I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Okay. Yeah, it's in good hands with Tim Schafer. The man is an absolute genius, and I'm hoping that this is finally the game where he actually does not get a game that flops because people hate originality.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe this will even create an interest, a resurgent interest in Psychonauts, you know?
Oh, I hope so. And if people want to check out the game before this, Psychonauts, it is on the Xbox 360. They have Xbox games that you can download from the marketplace. Psychonauts is one of them. I think it's at 1,200 Microsoft points or maybe 800, but whatever the price is, it is totally worth it. Get that on your hard drive, play through it, and you will just be amazed.
Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite games ever. So good. But anyway, so moving on, what are we doing next, Lee?
Well, this is another one that's been just sitting back for several episodes. I've been wanting to talk about this lady for so long. She is, I call her the Bento Box Lady. She makes little Japanese lunch boxes. It takes her hours to make these, but she makes them out of little video game and anime characters and just creates all these nice scenes. It's tough to describe because it's more of a visual thing than an audio thing, but just imagine opening up your lunchbox and you'll see like a Sackboy from Little Big Planet, or you open up your lunchbox and you'll see a fight scene from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Not only does she create the character, she just creates this awesome background, puts little stars everywhere. She uses very healthy solutions. I'm looking right here at a Sackboy. It's like it's using carrots and rice and seaweed and, God, just lots of different things to make awesome characters. I think somebody recently made a book with her stuff in it.
Oh, that's great.
I could be wrong about that, but she makes so many things. I think she has about 93 entries. And she has been featured sometimes on the likes of Kotaku.com and Destructoid. Somebody joked to say, hey, what's next? Is she going to make Shadow of the Colossus in a grilled cheese sandwich? Well, she made Shadow of the Colossus in a grilled cheese sandwich. She has a great talent, and it's just great to see what she can do with some healthy things and some ham and rice and cheese. And, oh, man. It's just awesome. I hope that the boyfriend that gets these meals, I hope he's very grateful when he eats these.
Well, they look great. I mean, she's just really talented. You know, she can totally take something and then create anything out of it, you know? It's just lovely. I'm just looking at some of the photos right now. Like, I love the Totoro photo, you know, that she did. It's just beautiful. Beautiful work.
Yeah, Totoro, that was really cool. She's done several of those, and it just looks amazing. Looking here, we got Meta Knight from Smash Brothers Brawl. We got some things from Loco Roco. Oh, and also head crabs from Half-Life. She made edible head crabs out of potato, mayonnaise, Parmesan cheese, salt and pepper, and just bacon. And yeah, that sounds like a bad combination. Maybe they weren't really meant to be eaten. But they still look really cool. And we'll have her site on our blog at leandz.com. But if you want to go there just by typing it in, it is annathered.com. But, well, looks like we have a haiku contest going on, don't we?
It's true, we do. Where are we at, Lee?
I'm actually going to give it a few more days. I'm going to give this contest until October 15th. 2009. So get your entries in. A maximum of 3 haikus. The rules are 5 syllables.
5 syllables, 1 burp. No.
5 syllables, 1 burp, 7 syllables, 5 syllables.
No burping.
575.
Yeah, 575.
And that is pretty much about it about that. We still have a lot of entries. I've probably got about 50 haikus to go through right now, and we're going to select the best. Even though Z doesn't agree, I still think you're all winners in my book. We love you all.
Of course we love you all. Why wouldn't I agree with that? Did I not agree with that last time?
Last time I said they were all winners, you said, okay, let's not lie.
Or, well, I am honest, you know, that everyone is a winner in some way, but then somebody's going to get the prize. That's how I'll put it this time.
Just remember, second place is first loser.
Oh, come on. Let's not be that mean.
We'll read we'll read a lot of the haikus on the air next time, and we're going to have several honorable mentions. But our winner is going to get, let's see, what are they going to get, Z?
They were going to get the first issue of a series by Sam Keith called Zero Girl, and another first issue from another series by Sam Keith called The Four Women. And those are both comic books, and they're awesome. So
cool. Mm-hmm. And also, they are going to get Snow for Lucy on DVD, and I have to mention every time, this is my favorite animated movie of the year. It's out of print, pretty rare, and I've got only a few of these left. This is a great DVD. You gotta try and go for it, peoples. All
right, so submit those haikus, and where do they send them to, Lee?
They send them to mailbag@leandz.com. Let me say that again, mailbag@leandz.com.
That's right. And if you could just put something about the haiku in the subject line so we know that it's a haiku entry, that would be helpful.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. So that would kind of separate it from our next segment, which would be my favorite segment in the entire universe. It's your favorite segment too, Z. It's the viewer mail.
I do like viewer mail. I love it when people write in and ask us questions and talk to us and let us know what they think. So actually, Jason asks, I recently got an NES, and I want to know, in your opinion, of course, what are the 5 must-own games for the NES?
Ooh, that's a pretty loaded question, and he wants both of us to answer that. I will go first on that because I kind of cheated. I wrote down a little bit of a cheat sheet on what I think are 5 must-own games, and I strayed from the path of games that everybody talks about, like Mario 3 or something like that. What I'm going to say is Journey to Silius, which is kind of like Contra and Mega Man rolled into one. That's a game made by Sunsoft. It's one of my favorite games on the NES. Micro Machines, best racer of all time. Best racer of all time. I can't express that enough. Conquest of the Crystal Castles. Another platformer that has very interesting levels, interesting gameplay, and very few people ever talk about this. I haven't played it for I haven't gotten too far in it, but this game is really special, and people need to check this game out. A more recent game that I've talked about, River City Ransom. People, you have to check that game out. That is my favorite beat 'em up. That game is fan-friggin-tastic. And plus, along with River City Ransom, you want to check out the fan movie based off that, made by our buddies at X Strike Studios, River City Rumble. You just might see Captain S in there. Ha ha ha. And also Darren. Darren's cool. But I got to put in the fifth game. Our fifth game is people more know about, but they don't mention a lot, is Batman. This is a licensed game, and it rocks. It rocks hard. It's insanely difficult, but the music is just so fantastic, and the levels are just designed so well. It's a great game. The end of the game is just hard as hell and almost impossible, but fans, you should really check out these games. Journey to Silius, Micro Machines, Conquest of the Crystal Castles, River City Ransom, and Batman.
Well, I have 5 games that I can think of off the top of my head.
Cool.
They're not as, I don't know, they're different than your
exotic.
list. Yeah, maybe that's the word. Maybe they're not as exotic as your games, but they're 5 games that I really love quite a bit, and I look forward to playing them pretty often. Gyrus, which I've done a review on, which is a great game. I love the game Gyrus. If you've never played it before, you should check that one out. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, the original one. I love it. It's so much fun. I love all the different characters in that. And if you're fairly new to playing video games, you can get pretty far from the beginning. So that's always really rewarding as well. Star Tropics, one of the best games ever. I absolutely love Star Tropics. I've always been a huge fan of that game. Legend of Zelda, which a lot of people say that Star Tropics was somewhat of a ripoff of Legend of Zelda, but in my mind, they are 2 very, very separate games, and Legend of Zelda was one of the first games that I ever beat, so this holds a very special place in my heart. And Kirby's Adventure, because Kirby is just awesome.
That is a solid list, and beating Zelda is a great accomplishment, because that game is pretty tough. Did you ever beat the Master Quest?
No, I beat it once, and then I moved on. I didn't feel like I needed to.
My stepfather, a few years ago, he got back into playing the games very briefly. He still plays the new games like Call of Duty, but he played Legend of Zelda, and he beat the game. And then he's like, second quest? What's this? And that's when he just gave up on it, because that's when the game just gets crazy unfair. Because all the item locations and all the dungeon locations are different, so it's probably just nerve-wracking. Like, I just spent all these months memorizing everything, and now it's all topsy-turvy.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what happened to me. I felt good about beating it the first time, and I didn't feel like I needed to continue on another quest. I had done my duty, you know?
Okay, we have a good question, very special for episode 10. What made you two want to create the show? And I guess that question will go to me, because it's all my fault that this podcast even got thought of to begin with.
It's true. It's all Lee.
Basically, let's see. I've known Z, I guess, since late 2007, after she made Food Fight, the Still Gaming review, after I got sick for a while. And that was a really, really awesome stuff. And also when she made the Little Miss Gamer show and said that Still Gaming was the inspiration, that was like a high point in my life. I was like, wow, that just shows that Still Gaming is just so special. So I owe a lot to Z for getting me to where I am today. And after we talked a lot at MagFest 7 in January, or MagFest 6 or 7, yeah, MagFest 7 in January, I noticed that we really have like a lot in common. We have like chemistry that could be built up for several things, and I figured we could do a podcast to try and help build that chemistry, so that whenever we do like future videos together, like a review or something like that, we'll actually be more familiar with each other and know what our strengths are. That's really what the plan was, and the major goal for me was just to entertain Z. and if like a few thousand fans liked it, then that would be a cool bonus, because this was my first ever attempt at recording my voice for a podcast, other than an interview I did with Transmission Awesome, which I was just so nervous and so fluttery, and that's pretty much how we came together. We recorded our first episode, which I told you we had to throw out because I had a lot of butterflies, and then we've hit it off since then and made a show that's been enjoyable for all, and best of all, we just entertain each other, and that's the story of the Lee and Z show. Z, what is your stories of the beginnings of the Lee and Z show?
I don't know, just the hardest thing has always been trying to find a time where the two of us can actually record the podcast, because my schedule has been really busy the last few months between like work and doing theater and creating puppet shows and stuff. It's, I have like little slots of time, and then fitting that in with Lee's schedule between filming and everything else. But, I mean, it's been fun. To me, it's just like people are kind of listening in on a conversation that we're having. So I'm always amazed that people are, like, interested in that. Like, really? You guys want to listen to us talk about stuff for 30 minutes? Okay. I try to be very honest I am very honest in the podcast. So I hope that people appreciate that. And I know that people don't agree with what we say sometimes, but I think that we're always just trying to be ourselves, because that's who we are. And I think it gives listeners a chance to get to know us better. People who are fans of each of our shows, Still Gaming and Little Miss Gamer, get a chance to kind of hear us in a little bit more of a relaxed setting. And I think what's been exciting is the interview segments that we've been able to do. And I look forward to doing more of that kind of stuff with you. So I guess this is a nice bit of reflection as an episode 10. It's also in the Jewish calendar. We just had Yom Kippur, which is a day of atonement and also reflection. So maybe it makes sense that we're doing this in the fall. But I'm very pleased with where we've been and where we come from so far, and I think we're going to keep doing some great stuff.
Yes, I'm very grateful that you're able to take an hour out of your time to do this podcast every 2 weeks, especially nowadays, because today is a very busy day for you. Tomorrow is a very busy day for you. Monday is a very busy day for you, and then you got to work like crazy. All the way up to the point where you get to go to Disney World. And then after that, then maybe we'll consider talking about when to record episode 11 sometime early in the morning. But I'm just really grateful that I'm able to record this podcast with you. We've gotten up to 10, and we're going to get up to 20 much faster than we got up to 10, because we'll be on a regular schedule, we hope, of 2 every month. I want to try and stick to that schedule, because I think we can do it, but sometimes we may bring in a guest, and because I'm really busy or Z's out for a while, like it might be the Lee and Dina show sometime. Actually, what people don't know is my original idea for the podcast was that it was actually going to be Lee, Dina, Chad, and Z, because Chad and Z did a podcast for about 2 episodes on pbcproductions.com. And I thought, hey, that was pretty cool. They should really start that up again. Maybe we should do that with me and Dina, so it'd be like 4 people. But then I thought, it's kind of cluttered, though. That's a lot of people, and I wanted to try and condense it down to just 2, because I thought that would really work. Because my favorite radio shows that I used to listen to, it would be 2 hosts just having good conversation. And we already have a lot of podcasts on That Guy with the Glasses that have a lot more than 2 people, like 4 people, 3 people, 5 people. So I wanted to try and be a little bit different. So that's why I decided Lee and Z, because Lee and Z rhymes. I wanted to make it Z and Lee, but that website was taken.
No, and I didn't like it as much. I think Lee and Z is better, and it makes more sense too, because it's really Lee does all the work. I just kind of show up and talk for a while, but Lee has been doing all the editing and all the posting and all that stuff. So
yeah, it's been a very, very it takes a while to edit all these shows together, but it's definitely worth it. I don't do all the work now. Now Z handles a lot of the back end or front end work. Like she helps upkeep the iTunes stuff, the RSS feed, the feed burner feed, all of this stuff that makes me go, I don't know what all this is. I don't know tech stuff. I just know how to do basic HTML. I know how to do a B tag, an I tag, and sometimes, if I'm feeling really frisky, a U tag.
Ooh.
But that's about it.
That is frisky, as they say. But anywho, well, I think that we are nearing our 1 hour limits. So
that is correct. So well, we have reached our 10th episode, and what I say is on to 100. I want to get us to 100, and I think we will, because this podcast, I believe, is going to be around for a long time, and I think that Lee and Z are going to be working together on many projects in the future, and you might even see something like that in the very near future if you haven't already. Who knows?
All right. Well, till next time, I'm Z.
And I'm Lee.
And we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
All aboard the Cartoon Express, the USA Cartoon Express. Traveling east and heading west, it's a great big all-out Cartoon Fest.
I'm Hudson here, if you're into me.
It's time for cartoons, right now, right here.
Where Cody helps keep things right on track.
With famous cartoon stars riding in back.
So hop on board for the daily run. Animals, cartoony, kind of fun. Action, adventure, and all the rest on the USA Cartoon Express.